Hey, what is up guys? So I'm here to share off a one-hit, one-punch OTK using a fusion monster from the Wind Witches to copy a effect from Armityle, the Phantom of Chaos, and you just saw right there. If you blinked, you missed it. Don't worry, I got some more replays. It's a pretty straightforward replay though. But anyways, it's a one-hit OTK using Wind Witch Crystal Bell. I'll go over like the full basic combo of the deck. Once again, it's just a really cheesy one-hit OTK. And Armityle, the Chaos Phantom, is actually getting more support later down the line, guys. There's a card that special summons Haman, Ravioli, and the Araya all in one turn. Although I don't know what the downsides are to that card. I don't know if it says like you can't conduct your battle phase. That card has still yet to be fully revealed. They revealed half the effect of a card, which, you know, that doesn't really help out in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if it has lots of downsides, then obviously we can't play it. But anyways, it's a relatively straightforward concept. You Gale Dogger it, or you just, however, get Armityle, the Chaos Phantom, to the graveyard. You go ahead and you fusion summon the Wind Witch Crystal Bell, and then you just one-hit your opponent. And I know some of you guys will be like, wow, this is cheese. What if your opponent has like something to stop it? Don't worry, there's a card to prevent your opponent from doing anything to stop this cheesy little OTK. I think that this is an okay deck. By all means, it's not like tier 1. But the thing is, most decks will lose if you hit them for 12,000 plus damage. It doesn't really matter what they're going to have. Most decks don't have a monster with like 5,000 attack. They're going to get hit one punched. They're just going to straight up lose. It doesn't matter if they're playing ABC, whatever. Again, I'll show you guys the reason why you're just going to straight up win with this deck. So now you've seen that you can pull off the one punch. I'm going to go ahead and go over the effect and the deck profile. I'll show you guys why you can actually prevent yourself from, like, you know, getting wrecked by, you know, anything in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the deck edit. Obviously, there is going to be some obscure card that might prevent you from taking damage, like Wabaku or something. Okay, but pretty much, once this card comes out with the support of Fallen Paradise, you guys didn't even get to see this because the opponent just didn't have an answer, but you can make the Wind Witch Crystal Bell immune to everything, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But the reason why is its name becomes Armityle, the Chaos Phantom. And again, you guys didn't see this in the replay, but it's not like you really need to see it in action. But anyways, this is a field spell called Fallen Paradise. I thought this was like an anime card at first, but anyways, your opponent cannot target Araya, or Haman, or Ravioli, or Armityle, the Chaos Phantom in your monster zone with card effects. And also, they can't be destroyed by card effects. So they can't be destroyed, they can't be targeted. So a lot of decks at that point, they don't have a strict answer to it. And it doesn't matter that next turn they can make Utopia or whatever cards that they may be, because, yeah, you're going to have 10,000 plus attack. You're going to one-shot them anyways. But anyways, it has a bonus effect. So if that wasn't good already to make the card that you're summoning pretty much immune to everything, on top of that, if you control Araya, Haman, or Ravioli, I know someone's gonna be like, it's Raviel? Alright, we call him Ravioli on my my YouTube channel. But anyways, if you control the Armityle, the Chaos Phantom, because you're not gonna play those other cards, you get to just draw 2 cards. So if you just had this, not only is your OTK, like, you know, probably just going to win you the game anyways, because at that point, who cares about drawing extra cards when you just win? I guess you can disrespect your opponent, so that is some next level gameplay. But anyways, yeah, so Fallen Paradise, yeah, just draw 2 extra cards, makes so this card is immune to everything. Now this card has to technically proc its effect, but I don't think someone's going to be like, oh, I need to negate it, unless they know about what you're going for. But this card's really good. I mean, it lets you copy a monster, and it copies its effects, and also copies its name. Because this card, unfortunately, does not really protect itself before, but now I think you can maybe make a deck using this card itself. Again, guys, the deck is getting more support in the future, but let's go ahead and just go over the deck profile real quick. You don't have to just make this card, but this is generally what you want to actually do in the deck. I would have recommended playing Pot of Cupidity, playing Cup of Aces, because it doesn't really matter how many cards you potentially give your opponent, because you just, like, win the game, you know? But, yeah, well, this card basically means if you draw extra cards, unless they know what you're going for, they're not going to really know what's going on. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty good to mess around with. Again, I don't think it's going to be like tier 1, but I think it's a fun little deck you guys can have some fun with. You know, just one-hit your opponent, make some cheesy plays. But yeah, you can definitely make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and I think we also saw the Winter Bell, which can actually burn your opponent. Not that you really need this in the deck, but it has options, you know what I mean? But let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile and talk a little about it. So first off, we got 3 copies of Glass Bell, 3 copies of Beast King of the Swamps. So this card can actually be a substitute for any of the other material. Then we have 3 copies of Ice Bell, 3 copies of Takentorm Borg, 3 copies of King of the Swamp, 3 copies of Gale Dogra, 1 Speed Red Red-Eye Dice, 3 copies of Snowbell, 3 Poly, 3 copies of Fusion Sage, which is basically just Poly again, and then 3 copies of Terraforming to search out the card, but we didn't really need it. 1 copy of Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Twin Twisters, and then 3 copies of Fallen Paradise, which protects your Armityle, and then we got 3 Solemn Strikes. For the extra deck, we got 3 copies of Armityle, 3 copies of Crystal Bell, 3 copies of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, 3 copies of Clearwing Fast Dragon, and 3 copies of Winter Bell. This is basically like a turbo deck. But yeah, you could definitely one-hit your opponent. You guys can let me know what other combos you guys can think of with this. I know this deck is getting more support. Maybe in like next week we'll see what the new card that brings out like Araya, Haman, and Ravioli, and we can see like how good is this, because this card is pretty strong when you combine it with Fallen Paradise. Unless they're getting rid of Fallen Paradise, you're pretty good. I'd say that most decks don't have an answer to it like coming out. Like once it comes out and it's on board and you have Fallen Paradise, I don't think most decks can do anything. I know we talked about before, we talked about the whole like little bird cards, and like obviously we could use the kaijus against them, and we can get rid of it. But with this, it comes out, your opponent doesn't have a next turn to make anything. They just basically have to use what they have on board, and most decks, if you can't target it, you can't destroy it. There's not very much that you can do during your opponent's turn. But let me know, is there a way to stop this? When you have Fallen Paradise and Armityle, or I guess this card that copies it, how can you get rid of it? I'm not talking about Kaiju, because that has to be during your turn. I'm talking about when it is your opponent's turn and they make this, what do you do? Other than like Waboku or Threatening Roar, because like no one really main decking those cards. And heck, no one even really side decking those cards. I don't know what can actually like keep this from going off. Maybe like a Battle Fader, but I don't feel like most decks play Battle Fader. Like, what do you do to get rid of this? I guess technically you could Trishula, but again, that's only for certain decks that can, you know, make a Trishula during your opponent's turn. But for most decks, I think it's pretty much over for them. But anyways, that's pretty interesting. You make a Armityle one-punch deck. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys give that like button a titty slap. And I am signing out.